Welcome to SoCal Tech Interviews, where we talk with high-tech entrepreneurs, investors, and others in Southern California's high-tech industry. Today, we talk with Crystal Brown, the founder of Healthiest, a startup that develops a browser extension that helps you find a healthier version of whatever you're shopping for. I'm Ben Kuo, founder and editor of SoCalTech.com.
I'm Crystal Brown, and I'm the founder and CEO of Healthiest, which is a browser extension that helps you find a healthier version of what you're shopping for directly on major e-tailers like Amazon, Target, Walmart.
And how did you start that? How did you start your company?
So it was a much bigger vision, and it still is. Really, how can you help people live a healthy life and make that really simple for them? Because we know that it's a much bigger and confusing web right now. You don't know what products to buy, you don't know what practitioners to see, you don't know which blog to read or what to believe, and we felt like consumers really needed distilled information that was vetted sort of beyond the label. There's a lot of information that you can't read on a label or just on a blog to know whether it's really healthy for you.
And how did you decide to start the company?
So I met my co-founder. We were actually at a concert, and a live music concert, and he said to me, I always wish there was like a WebMD for natural medicine, like somewhere you could go if you didn't necessarily only want to use traditional medicine, or maybe in conjunction with traditional medicine. And I started to think about like, where do you go if you want to figure out how to live a healthy life? And also with the advances in healthcare technology, and I've been in health tech for years, why haven't we coordinated some of these amazing pieces to make it really easy and consumable via mobile? Because everyone has a mobile phone, but yet it's really hard to get to your doctor, and often even our doctors aren't trained in natural medicine or nutrition or diet. And so how can you bring those pieces together? And it kind of clicked for me, and I thought, that really does need to exist. There needs to be some trusted brand out there for consumers.
And what was your background before you started the company?
So I spent about a decade in healthcare technology, and that was before it was cool to talk about big data and transferring big data, but I was in that intersection of healthcare and the business of healthcare and technology, and so I got really good at understanding the technology. And then I started to do more mission-driven, socially mission-based work, and started a parent lobby actually in California. And I had a moment where it was Coca-Cola Day at the Capitol, and there were red shirts and legislators, and I thought, what? The real way to make impact in this country is if you're a very powerful, strong brand like Coca-Cola, but maybe fighting for the right things. And so I started to look into businesses that were more mission-driven, like Beauty Counter, which is based here in LA, and some businesses that the sustainable apparel division of Nike, and thought, really, if you work within corporations to make change, often you can. And so I wanted to sort of bring technology and socially mission-based work together and started Healthiest.
Interesting. What has been the biggest lesson you've learned as an entrepreneur?
Oh my God, I've learned so many lessons. First of all, I think being an entrepreneur, and this is not my first startup, so it's a roller coaster, and that goes for men and women. But for women right now, I think that it's a big challenge figuring out how to navigate the space when it comes to funding. And I didn't anticipate that because I know a lot of VCs. I've been in Silicon Valley for 20 years. I understand how it operates, and I didn't really understand that there was, that it was going to be as hard as it was to get funded. And also looking around at other CEOs, female CEOs, women of color, men of color, not getting the type of funding they need. I didn't anticipate that. So that was one of the biggest learnings. But also just that, like, you kind of need to be naive or you'd never do it, because who wants to put their entire life on the line? And we've really bootstrapped our company and taken side jobs and Airbnb into our houses, and we really have done everything we can, but at some point you do need capital, and I think the flow of capital doesn't quite work, and I think that was a big learning for me.
So you guys ended up trying to use Airbnb to help fund your business?
Yeah, right? So, I have a lot of appreciation for Airbnb, and when I hear of cities that are cutting down and saying you shouldn't do this or that, and I was thinking, there's other innovation that are coming on top of that innovation, and I appreciate very much what they did, because if it weren't for them, I really couldn't support. I have 3 kids. I'm a single mom, and because of them, I'm able to continue to try to innovate in the space of health and wellness. And actually, there was just news today that both Walmart and Amazon are really trying to get into health and health tech and break into it. So it's not really a side discussion. Health in this country, healthcare in this country is huge. So hopefully we can help the innovation.
So what's been the best part of being an entrepreneur?
Oh, the best part? No one ever asked that.
I'll ask the worst part too, but what's the best part?
Having that flexibility to learn and to explore and to really test and try new things. When you're in a position where there's lots of layers and there's sort of a much more defined role, you often can't push yourself. And when you're in a startup, you really have to do 100 different jobs, and it's humbling, because you figure out, like, God, my 20-year-old intern is much better at doing some creative than I am. But it's also meeting so many interesting people that deeply care about making change. And I think when you're in that entrepreneurial ecosystem, you're able to really, really push the envelope in a way that I would say in other settings you're not. And so people that do it are often they're motivated by some itch they have that they really want to make different. They really want to improve, and I love being a part of that community.
You mentioned earlier that it's kind of hard to navigate the funding and to get. Well, how did you get over that? I mean, how did you manage
I'm
to?
Not sure we have.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? I think it also, when you hear of Peloton right now, he had to go to 1,000 investors, and here he is, on NASDAQ. It's just remembering that it isn't that process is going to be hard. You're going to have to ask a lot of people. You're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to get enough no's to take a breath and say, just keep going. And I think that is how we've been able to navigate it, and a lot of networking, and appreciate that if you really want to do something, you're going to keep at it to the best of your abilities, and also think of innovative ways of running your business and being very, very lean. And often startups are, but the deck is not necessarily stacked equally, right? So I have entrepreneur friends that second-time entrepreneurs that get funding really fast, maybe rightfully so. They've already proven themselves. So that we just keep going.
So I mentioned the hardest part. What has been the hardest part about entrepreneurship, and how have you figured that out?
I think just the roller coaster of highs and lows. It really is like that. I mean, you have a small win and you're so excited, and then something comes crashing or something changes. Also, being able to pivot is both a positive and a negative. It's good, but it's when you start down a path, it's like trying to drive across the country without a map. Like, you're gonna have to keep going down these side roads and realize you have to turn around. I think also finding the right team and partners can be very challenging, and just because someone wants to do a job doesn't mean that they're going to do the job the way you need, and there has to be a lot of cohesion around goals, and I think for me, being able to really find a team of people that are dedicated has been challenging, and then very happy when you do find those people that so it can be both, but it's a roller coaster for sure.